record on this computer. So now we're going to rock and roll today, guys. Appreciate you guys joining the Salvation Strength Cast today. Got my good friend and previous client with me today, Cassie Morgan. So Cassie, say hello.
Hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Yes. So guys, if you do not know who Cassie is, let me just give you some brief overview. I posted this inside a Facebook group, but to date, she has lost 56 pounds. She has been fighting through anxiety and depression and has a strong handle on that. Also under control is asthma. And then you recently ran a 5K, like your very first 5K.
Yes, I did. I wanted to do the same 5K this past October, but they had to cancel it.
Mm,
So last August, I decided that I wanted to try something different. And for a while, I'd been doing the weightlifting, and I love weightlifting. But I was
mhm.
like, all right, I hate running, and I need to change that because it's exercise, right? It
Ooh,
should be fun.
okay.
So I was like, let's try the 5K. I've always wanted to run one. I've always been nervous because I'm not a good runner, like not at all. My cardio, my asthma has always stopped me from doing that in the past.
How
So I
about
was like,
that?
okay, I'm going to get on the none to run plan, which is basically like a slow, like the first week is probably like 30 seconds of jogging and like 2 or 3 minutes of walking in between. So it starts with the intervals and it
Hmm.
works you up to the point where you're jogging for whatever speed is comfortable for you for like
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes at a time.
Okay.
So I actually got sick 3 weeks before
Oh
the
my gosh.
5K and I couldn't finish my training. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. And
I
I
love that.
actually averaged about 13-minute mile, which is not great, but it was about what my training was at. And I was floored. I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
How
Like,
about so you were
wow.
able to run the whole thing without stopping and
Oh, no, 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 no,
no?
no, no.
Okay, okay. I
I
just
dog walked, but I
dog
still
walked, okay.
finished it.
But you
I, s-
finished it and
yeah,
averaging 13-minute miles.
yeah.
That's
It was a
phenomenal.
slow go.
And but where were you before? Like, okay, so you said that you did this from zero to running your
Mhm.
first 5K. Like, what was your starting point with that?
My starting point was I was out of breath within like running 2 or 3 times for 30 seconds a piece.
How
Even with
about
the
that?
2 minutes between, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a struggle. But I
Yeah,
was like, I have to do this. I have to. I have to
I
see what I'm capable of.
I love it, Cassie. That like if I know anything about you, it's that Cassie always pushes outside the comfort zone. and
I
like and
try.
like you try, right? And so but you give it your absolute best. And what I loved about it was when you said, all right, I don't really enjoy running. I have the asthma, but it will be a challenge. So you set a goal of the 5K and then you were committed to that goal. Could you kind of walk through why that was so important for you? To set that
So,
goal?
yeah, setting a goal for me, I love goals, like in all aspects of my whether it's finances or work or personal life. I love to have goals because I love to be working towards something. I like to be working pretty much all the time on something, whether it's fun or work.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not set another fitness goal? Because it had been a while since I'd done any specific catered training such as like I did do those two strongman competitions, and obviously you have
Mhm.
to train for those. And so I was like, well, I mean, running can't be any different. Like, I think I
Right.
can do this. And so I set myself up and I did the research first because I was like,
Okay.
I need to find a program that works for me. I need to find something that's slow and nice to beginners so I don't
Okay.
get blisters on my feet because that's a common problem apparently.
Right on.
I
Okay.
was very lucky I did not run into any of that. But for me, I was just like, I need to set something up. So I wrote it down. I
Mhm.
printed it all out because the cool thing about None to Run is it's a free website and you can print their entire program. So I
Oh,
put it on my
nice.
fridge
Okay.
and I downloaded like a little interval pro app that has all the intervals. So it tells you when to run, when to walk, when to slow
Mhm.
down.
Okay.
And I put it into practice because for me, putting it into practice, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You say you're going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let anything get in my way.
I love that about you, Cassie. And I love how you hit the, like you said, anything that I want to achieve, I always want to be working towards progress to something. You talked about, finances, you talked about, in your work and obviously with your fitness. Can you kind of go into that a little bit more for our viewers about what progression means to you and what does that journey look like to Cassie when she sets her mind to something? And obviously you plan it out because you did your homework and whatnot. But is it kind of the same blueprint for you with any aspect of your life, or is it kind of different? Can you walk us through that process?
Sure. So for setting goals and getting progress done, for me, I like to have a plan. So I will literally sit down and write out what is it that I want to accomplish. For
Beautiful.
example, for the 5K, I was like, I want to accomplish this 5K. I signed up for one.
Hmm.
Um, Probably like 4 or 5 months in advance because I know you have to train. So I gave
Hmm.
myself plenty of time. I was like, I want to give myself extra time, make sure if I need to repeat a week, I have time to do that. Because I'm going to be honest with you, there were times where I woke up and I was like, holy freaking crap. I don't know if I can run today. And
Hmm.
so I was like, let's go to the gym and let's see what happens. So I'll go to the
Okay.
gym. And there were times where I had to stop mid
Okay.
workout because I couldn't do it. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna Yeah, I think it's because I ate something yesterday. I wasn't supposed to be eating it because you know how nutrition fuels your
Oh
workouts?
yes. Oh yes.
Oh my God, that is not nearly as much true as it is when you are trying to put a running program in place.
Hmm.
You don't eat healthy, your body's not going to feel like running that day.
How about so when you talk about getting up in the morning and not, feeling the effects, we're not talking about muscle soreness. We're talking about just
No.
feeling internally like the
Yes.
engine just doesn't seem to be functioning properly.
Sometimes, yes. I mean, there were times where I did have muscle soreness too.
Okay. Okay.
I did find it's called Fit Aid
Okay.
RX recovery drink. And I actually went to a CrossFit gym for about a month in Ashland before I decided it wasn't for me.
Okay.
But the one cool thing I learned is that they have recovery drinks called Fit Aid RX. I tried them
Okay.
after my CrossFit workout and I didn't have any soreness the next day. I mean, I
Interesting.
still had to roll out, still had to
Okay.
stretch. That
Okay.
it doesn't negate any of the basic principles, but
Beautiful.
it helped with the knots. Like it kept me from
Okay.
getting all those knots and being super sore for like a whole week after one run.
How about that? I'm going to have to research into that drink, I guess. And then for our
Yeah.
viewers, I know that recovery is a big part of,
Yes.
making progress. And I love that you mentioned, doing the foam rolling and doing the stretching. Is that still part of
Mhm.
your daily routine or daily with your workouts or whatnot?
Stretching, yes. I don't
Mhm.
foam roll as much as I do used to because I don't go as hard in the mornings. Sometimes I have issues waking up and working out. So
Okay.
I've been kind of easing back a little bit at the gym to give myself a little bit more time. I also, unfortunately, have been rehabbing one of my elbows.
Mm,
Yeah, I have some carpal tunnel problems with my left arm with crocheting. So I've had to take a really big break with one of my favorite hobbies. And also I've had to like kind of rehab it a little bit at the gym to try not to push myself too hard because I don't
gotcha.
want to re-injure myself and cause problems for work.
Of course. But let
Hmm.
me ask you this. So we're going through kind of the little bit of the rehab. Has that stopped you completely from working out?
Hell no.
That was
Hell
the
no.
answer I was looking for.
You go
That's
to the
the
gym and you figure it out.
you figure it out. So we can work around some injuries, right? Like if we got an upper body
Yes.
injury, we could focus on lower. We could still do the running.
Hmm.
It doesn't just because we have a little flare up or something does not mean we have to stop, right?
Right.
I love that. I love that. So, Cassie, I want to like backtrack. Like, I want to go back
Sure.
to the beginning because you've been very successful with your weight loss. You touched on, you did the strongman competitions. You've done this 5K,
Mm.
but there was a lot of hurdles along the way. Like you're talking about when you sent me your notes, you talked about anxiety and depression, and then even having asthma. So, I want to go back to the beginning of your fitness journey. What you know walk us through like what was going on in your mind as far as I need to get in shape, the direction you took, the research, maybe the research that you did, maybe even how you found mayhem. Just kind of go back and dive in and let us like give us your story from the beginning.
Okay, so I've always loved working out growing up. I did a lot of, when I was younger and in high school, I did a lot of swimming. I was always very physically active in some sort of way. Like with theater, I would do all of the backstage stuff, run around and boss everyone around. I loved doing all of that stuff. And then college came and I was free forming it and I wasn't forced to be on a team, and that's when I started realizing that I do love lifting weights.
Mm,
But
okay.
but I graduated college and I got married to my first husband really young.
Okay.
And when that divorce went through back in 2013, I I felt like a failure.
Mm, okay.
I felt like I had made a really bad decision and like a really big one.
Hmm.
So I struggled with eating my feelings.
Okay.
And for the next 3 years, it was, my weight just went to the highest point that it had ever been. I was at 226 pounds. I had problems with depression. I had super anxiety about going to the gym, about, being around other people. Would they think if they knew how heavy I was?
Mm,
And then, of course, my asthma did not help anything. I've had asthma since I was a kid, so that's not something that
okay.
magically goes away. But fortunately, my asthma is mostly allergy and like pollutant based. So if I'm around cats a lot, or if
Okay.
I'm around smokers or it's usually like pollutants in the air that cause the problems rather than exercising. Because there is
Gotcha.
exercise-induced asthma, but
Yeah.
I don't think I have that.
Yeah. My brother actually has that, the exercise induced asthma.
Oh, I
So,
couldn't
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, no, he's got it under better control because he's not a gym rat by any means, but he likes to stay active. He does, the biking, the snowboarding,
Yeah.
the outdoor activities, things of that nature. So he does those things just fine now. So I think he's kind of outgrown it. But I remember like, playing soccer as kids or anything like that. Like he would have the attacks and he always had to have the inhaler anytime that we were being active, just playing outdoors. So out in the neighborhood. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I can understand the kind of firsthand, well, not firsthand, but by growing up with my brother and
Yeah.
knowing what he went through, how bad asthma can have that effect. So, but
Oh, yeah.
how did you overcome those hurdles? Like, how did you overcome, like you said, you had the thoughts of, the anxiety about going to the gym and people are going to look at you. You're at your heaviest weight, and even the asthma. Like, how did you take the steps to overcome these things?
Well, I've reached my breaking point as most people do when they start their transformation.
Hmm.
I got married in February 2016 to my amazing current husband. He's awesome. And we went on our honeymoon to Harry Potter World and Universal Studios. It was my dream vacation.
That's so
And then I
awesome.
got back and I was looking all over all of the pictures
Hmm.
and I realized that, holy crap, I am huge. I
Hmm.
don't ever want to look this way ever again. And then I was like, you know what? I need to do something. I need to get my crap under control. I need
Hmm.
to like, I don't want to end up like other family members that were bigger than me and just couldn't control their eating, didn't have any kind of exercise habits. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm almost 30 years old. I'm like, I'm sorry, I was not 30 years old at that time. I was 26,
26. Okay.
27. around that age, and I was like, I don't want to hit 30 without getting my stuff together.
Okay.
So I actually started Googling gyms nearby, and I
Hmm.
was like, I could join like a Gold's Gym, but I don't know if I would stick with it. I need accountability. I need somebody that's going to show me how to work out for the long haul, for something that's going to last, something I'm going to have fun with. Because I remember that I loved lifting weights in college.
Hmm.
I loved it so much. And I hate cardio machines. I hate them. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the elliptical right now just because I can't do a lot of the weightlifting that I love to do. So I do
Gotcha.
elliptical 3 days a week now. But then I was like, I need something different.
Hmm.
So I think I found you through Google. I literally
Okay.
like looked up as much fitness places that were like not chain places.
Hmm. Okay.
And then I reached out to you and we set up the appointment. And after the first workout, I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do. This, obviously the trainer's cool. He's laid back. He's not gonna, yell at me for eating a cookie. Like, you know, something like that.
Right
Like
on.
I need accountability, but not like micromanaging accountability.
Love that. Love. I did not know that part, so that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
So
so it's
when you're I got a quick question. Like when you were doing your
sure.
research on Google, like you said, I didn't want like the name brand gyms that are out there. What was
Mhm.
that mindset? Because I don't hear that a lot. Like what was the mindset of, I don't want the big box gyms, and you're doing
Yeah.
your due diligence of, obviously doing your research. What was about Mayhem that might have been different than anything else that you were seeing out there?
It was so you had a lot of videos, a lot of pictures of the gym space itself. I loved the fact that you didn't have any cardio machines. I was like, this guy knows how to make you work out without forcing you to run on a treadmill.
Love that.
And for me, and between that and like the weightlifting, that's what kind of called me to the gym, to your gym. And I was just like, this is it. This is what I need. This is what I've been looking for.
Love that.
Uh, I wish I lived closer, man. I'm telling you.
I feel you. I feel she moved away from us, guys. She moved away from us. But
Unfortunately.
Cassie, so you research the gym, you come in, we do the first day. What was it about that first training session that you were just like, I'm sold?
So, I'm having a hard time remembering what we did, but I knew I was out of breath by the end, by like the first like 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't a very
Without a
long training
treadmill.
session.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
For me, it was your attention to detail too. Like you were correcting my form, but you were doing it at like just like, hey, don't hurt yourself. Try it this way. You also ran me through the workout, but I also got to see everybody else work together. Because when
Mhm.
I first joined, it was more of like a small group training class situation, which was amazing because I got to see other people that weren't necessarily super tiny or super big. Like it was a range of people, it was a range of sizes, different walks of life. Like everybody was coming from their own thing, like they were trying to figure out their own stuff as well, but everybody was so supportive. And
Love that.
it was so wonderful and so different from going to like a commercial gym where obviously like you might know a few people, you might see some regulars, but it's nothing like the family aspect.
I love that, Cassie. So I want to kind of backtrack because,
Yeah.
initially you talked about, walking into a gym and people are going to be watching me. I'm overweight, so I'm uncomfortable going to a gym. What was that experience like? Was it walking into the doors with just the attitude of, okay, I got to do something? Or how, like, I still want to know how you kind of overcame the fact of working past kind of those mental things so that you would actually walk through the door for the first time.
So, for me, it was the whole breaking point thing.
Hmm.
I knew that this was not going to be me. This was not going to be my life. I knew that I was going to change, and it had to start with, I have to put in the work. If you
Hmm.
don't put in the work, nothing's going to happen.
Gotcha.
And for me, it was I was terrified to start at a different gym. It was very different in the best possible way.
How
But
about
for
that?
me, I I'm a person of my word. So if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sign up for, this guy's gym and we're gonna like do like a session together, and then that's where the anxiety kicks in. Like
Mm,
after the appointment, like, oh no, like what if everybody's super tiny and they're all like
mhm.
looking at me, and then I was like, you know what? I just have to do this. This is
Oh,
for my health. This is for my mental health, my physical health. I want to be around a really, really long time to spend time with my family and my stepkids. And I got to do this for me.
so it was your whys. Like you're doing it for
Yes.
your health. You're doing it for the longevity. You're looking at, I don't want to be overweight like my, my family tends to be. And so you just really, that breaking point was just a feeling of, I've got to do something. So even though you were scared, you were timid, like you were out, so you were way outside of your comfort zone. That's what I'm hearing from you. It's like you're way outside your comfort zone, but you still took action. Like how important was it for you to just take that one action, um, versus saying, you know what, I can't do this?
For me, saying that I couldn't do this just wasn't an option. I had um I had the doctors basically telling me that I was on my way to type 2 diabetes, which runs in my family, if
Wow.
I didn't start doing something. And that was another one of my whys. I was like, there's no way I'm going to let something like that just happen to
How
me.
about that? How about that?
So,
That is so powerful. Wow.
oh God, I mean, you can either decide that working out is hard or being overweight is hard,
Mm,
and you got to choose your hard.
choose your hard. So I love that, Cassie. Are those the kind of mantras that you would like? I know that you had rough days. I know there was days like you probably woke up and like, I don't really want to get to the gym, or maybe even like I don't know how that first week was for you, or even the first month of being in the gym. Can you talk about kind of your mindset and your approach, and maybe like, was it mantras for you that worked for you? Was it something else? Like, what was it that you were doing to keep you in the game and keep pushing forward?
So I had a tremendous amount of support from my husband.
Mm,
I hadn't really told my family about the gym yet when I first started, because I was just trying to get, used to my new routine of getting up at 5 in the morning and getting to the gym for the 5:45 class.
yes.
And yeah, it was my husband and I were like, if we are going to invest in this health journey for
Mhm.
you and do this thing, you need to go 5 days a week.
How
And
about
I
that?
was like, okay, I can do that. I can get up at 5 in the morning. I can commit. I can come back home, because the gym was about 10 minutes from my
Mm,
apartment, which is not very far,
right.
especially in the city. And I was like, I can do that all before work and then go to work. I was like, I was a little tentative, but I've always been a morning person. So
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? What if I get up, I go to the gym, and then it sets me up for a good day?
Let's
All
talk
those
about,
endorphins.
like, you've hit on so many awesome points. So I just want to touch on some of this stuff. So first, you and Sean get together. This is her husband, Sean. You guys get together and you're making a commitment to each other. Like he's telling you, "Hey, I've got your back. You have my full support. But if you're going to do this thing, if you're going to invest in yourself, you got to do this 5 days a week." So that was kind of like the agreement between the two of you. It's like, okay, I got your back, but you gotta, like, it was kind of like a give and take there, was it not?
Oh, for sure. And I married a cook, and he is amazing. So
I've
our
had his cooking, yes.
and I also was like, if I make this, change, we also got to change the way we're eating.
Hmm.
Because, we were eating okay. I mean, we weren't eating great. I maybe probably was eating too much pasta for
Okay.
for what I was supposed to be doing. But I was like, maybe we can like start with crock pot meals
Mhm.
and do like a quick veggie, like a steamed veggie to go with it. So like chili and veggies, or like a crock pot beef stew with some broccoli or a side salad. I was like, we just got to make a little bit more of an effort to make sure that, I'm not only just going to the gym, but I'm also making sure my workouts are fueled, because
Yes.
I knew that just because you work out does not mean you're going to lose weight. You have
Mhm.
to make sure your nutrition is good. It's so, so, so important. And I am the epitome of that. Because
So do you want to talk about that a little bit, about maybe some of the struggles you had with nutrition, and how did you overcome it?
oh my God. Okay. So I don't know if anybody knows this about me, but I am a carb crazy lover. And
Do we
I've
have any
also
carb fanatics in here? Drop some hearts if you are a carb fanatic in this group on
yes.
here. Drop some hearts if you
Bread,
are a carb fanatic.
donuts, pasta, you name it, I eat it. But for me, it was finding that balance.
Hmm.
And also as I was getting older, I noticed that there are things that I just couldn't tolerate anymore. Like in the morning, I can't have any greasy food. Like I have to have something real basic, real plain. So I've only really been able to do protein shakes with
Okay.
almond milk
Okay.
or oatmeal. And that's it. Those are my two options for breakfast.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, which, simplified my meal plans and
And
simplified prep.
can we stop right there real quick?
Yeah.
Because I love that you talked about, you simplified your meal plan, but you basically have the two options, right? Is this your
Mhm.
meal options, like because you're going to get up and go to the gym and you want to feel good? Like what is that nutrition like what does that nutrition do for you for your workouts?
So, if I eat too much of some super sugary or super processed foods, my body feels very sluggish,
Hmm.
very run down. I get really tired. I get that 3 o'clock slump that everybody seems to get. And I am very sensitive to caffeine. So I can't drink coffee at 2 p.m. and be good for the rest of the day. I can't do that. I will have a snack, like
Okay.
some hummus or something with pita bread or carrots or whatever I have on hand. But
Uh,
for me, it was really important to set those meal choices up. Like I would, look for recipes, but at the same time, I don't want to have to cook every night.
right.
Not because I'm lazy, but because time crunch. Like I don't want to
Hmm.
get home and be cooking for 2 hours every single night. So for us, it was really finding those easy meal prep meals. So every Sunday, we would take 2, 3 hours, go to the grocery store, come home, and meal prep for the whole week.
How about
And
that?
there might be like 1 or 2 nights where we had to make another giant meal, such as something in the crock pot in the morning and then good to go at night and then good for another 4 days. But for us, it was really important just to take that extra time to say, this is what we're going to do this week, to
Hmm.
have a plan, to have a goal of, we're going to eat healthy, we're going to make better choices. Also, because I love sweets as well, um, we had to make up new rules for the house.
Okay.
So I can't have any snacks in the house at all. I will
Hmm.
eat them all in one sitting.
Guilty. Guilty. Same thing. Yep.
So anytime that my husband buys snacks, I'm like, you have to literally take them out of the house. So he
Yeah.
takes them and he puts them in his car. And he is very good at portioning them out throughout the week. So he has a very active job. I do not. I work at an office, or
Mhm.
I can't say that anymore. This is my office. But I
Right
have a
on.
very stationary job. So for
Gotcha.
me, having all those snacks, I don't need them calorie wise, but he
Mm.
does. So for me, I'm like, just take them all with you. As long as they're not in the house, I can't eat them.
I love that about you, Cassie, because, in my own coaching, like I talk about, you can fit into your macros, you can make it work. Like there's no food that's off limits. However, I also work with our clients where it's like, know yourself. Like, no, like I know for me, like if the sweets are in the house, I'm going to eat them. Like I
Mhm.
crushed an
Yep.
entire bag of Halloween candy in 3 days, like all me. Like
Mm.
Selena might have got a piece of it, right? And so like she'll literally go to the extreme of hiding, the cookies and stuff. And if I find it, they're gone, right? So I know this about myself to just have those rules of let's just keep it out of the house because there's no temptation there. So I love the fact that even though we can fit it into our macros, it's always better to set yourself up for success. Would you agree with that?
I would 100% agree with that.
And so, but that doesn't mean you never have sweets, right?
No, no, I definitely have sweets. My niece actually turned 4 this past weekend, and my dad, knowing that I couldn't eat any kind of dairy stuff, which is basically what they had for dessert, was cupcakes, and I'm not a big fan of cupcakes. I won't eat cupcakes. They're not worth the calories for me. Brownies are a different story. But he he
You're
brought
so
like a
talking
little
my language.
he brought like a little raspberry cobbler, and so I had a slice of that. But for me, it's understanding that there are going to be days that come up where it's okay to say, let's not count calories today.
Hmm.
Just don't eat everything on the table.
Yeah.
It's important to let yourself live, but understand that one day does not equal a lifestyle. And that took me a very long time to come to terms with,
How about
especially
that?
when I'm an emotional eater.
So let's talk about that because in the beginning of this conversation, where you talked about, when you went through divorce and you just started eating so much and it was like your comfort foods because you were kind of in that depression. And so food was to comfort. But now you've made the flip where it sounds like you have a much more healthy relationship with food. Can you talk about that experience and maybe somebody who's kind of feeling the same way, like they don't have a good relationship with food, or they feel like it has to be the all or nothing approach, or
Mhm.
can you just kind of touch on that and how you made that work for you?
Yes. So I started at Mayhem in May, April, I don't remember, early 2016
Okay.
with you guys. And when I started working out, I realized that I was having a hard time just working out
Hmm.
because I was not eating. I knew I wasn't eating the right stuff. So I was trying to make that transition at the same time. And that's when I started making those rules about not keeping the snacks in the house. And if I'm going to have something sweet, I usually, um, back then when I was trying to be serious and trying to be straight on board and just trying to to make that lifestyle change of eating healthy and not necessarily counting calories but watching portions is what I
Mm,
started with.
love that.
I would buy the bags of Dove dark chocolate, and they come in these tiny, tiny little pieces. And that way I felt like, hey, I'm still having dessert, but it's
Hmm.
4 pieces of chocolate and it's like less than 200 calories. So it's
Hmm.
not eating up my whole day's worth of nutrition. And
Love
for
it.
me, that was really important, is that I still worked in the foods that I loved. And I never forced myself to eat something healthy just because it was healthy. I'm
Mm.
not going to sit down and eat kale chips because I don't like kale chips, but I will sit down and eat a sweet potato with, broccoli and a piece of barbecue chicken, or,
Mm.
just it's really, really important for me to make smart but healthy decisions based on what I love to eat. And
Oh.
if you're making it something that you love, why wouldn't you do it? And so for me, I was like, that was like a mind changer. I was like,
Hmm.
if I'm going to work out, and then I started feeling better. I was eating better. I was losing
Hmm.
weight. I felt better about myself. I was getting strong at the gym.
Yeah.
I got biceps now. What? And
I
it
love
was
that.
just it was a game changer for me. It was like I can go to the gym, I can feel good, I can eat good, and getting that workout in the morning, it
Hmm.
was just like it set me up for the whole day. I was like, I already worked out today, so I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna follow that by making better choices. And
S-
I failed. There were
Okay.
times where I failed, okay? I'm not perfect,
Hmm.
but you have to get back up.
I
You have to
love
keep
that.
going.
So let's talk about that real quick because you hit a really awesome point that I want people to really zero in on, and that was you did your workouts first thing in the morning, and it set up my day to make the rest of the day easier. I'm making better food choices because of that. Can you talk about that mindset and why that worked for you?
Yes. So when I go to the gym, I try to lay down any anxious feelings, any sad feelings, and I know what I'm gonna do when I get there. And I look at that workout plan, whatever it may be for that day. You had a blackboard, which was amazing. I never knew what I was gonna walk into. I never looked at the workout beforehand. I like to be surprised. It's fun
Yep.
that way. So for me, it was finding something that I loved to do, because going to the gym, at first it was a chore, because
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I have to do this for my health. Okay, this is good for me. And then when I walked into like the first day with um everybody there, I can't remember everybody who was there for my first day, but like Brianna Baldwin was there at one point.
Mhm.
The
Probably.
twins, but that weren't sisters, Amy
Yeah,
and
Amy and Tracy.
Tracy. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
having like Stephanie there, and that it was
Hmm.
just, they were there to make it fun.
Yeah.
And then workouts became fun. And then I was like, well, this is really working out anymore. This is going somewhere to see family, to
Mm.
have fun.
I
And it
love
sets up
that.
your whole day. It sets up your whole day. Like, how can you not have a good day after that?
I love that. Cassie, that is so amazing how it's like that mindset flip where you went from this is a chore to this is exciting. Like, this is fun. This is chore to this is fun. Do you have a way? And because I know, like, since you moved away, like you're working out on your own now and doing,
Mhm.
and you tried to CrossFit for a while at a different gym and whatnot, but maybe there's somebody out there who's like, okay, the gyms are still closed where I'm at. I don't have access to, maybe a group facility training because we don't really do like the large groups anymore with the Mayhem.
Right.
Um, but how, how do you stay motivated? What could you offer to somebody who's like, exercise is a chore. I need to make it fun. Do you have any tips, any tricks on how to maybe develop that mindset, or what would you encourage that person?
I would encourage that person to find the exercise that makes it not a chore.
Mm,
For me, that was the game changer. You might like bicycling. You might like getting on the elliptical and realizing you can burn 600 calories in an hour. You might like the row machine. Um, or you might like some yoga. Who knows what you are going to like? Try everything.
love
And the cool thing is, YouTube is free.
that. Right?
Like, just go on there, see what looks interesting to you. Go try paddle boarding. I don't know, like you might find something like boxing or
Hmm.
kickboxing is super popular. I mean, obviously you can't do all of those things right now, but
Hmm.
for luckily for me, my gym is open.
Hmm.
But for a while I was reverting to Zumba classes at home
How
while
about
the gym
that?
was closed, because YouTube is full of Zumba classes, and for me that kind of brought in the fun a little bit, because I love to dance.
Nice.
Not very
Nice.
good at it, but I love to dance.
But we get dance like the world, like nobody's watching, right?
Yeah.
I love that. So it was just a matter of, finding what you love. And you talked about previously, in college you enjoyed weightlifting. So that's what really drew you towards our gym because we were
Mhm.
so much of the weightlifting aspect of it, right?
Yes, yes, and if I lived closer I would still be a part of your gym.
I love that, Cassie. That says a lot. So let me ask you this. Like, what did you learn by being able to work with me, by being able to work at Mayhem? Like, do you still have the lessons? Do you still have kind of the mindset? Like, what did you pick up and what did, like, I'm curious to know, and this is kind of a selfish reason for me. I'm going to be completely 100% transparent here, guys.
That's fine.
But I want to know, like, what lessons, what values, what skills, whatever did you pick up that you still carry with you today?
So, I use a lot of the floor workouts that you used to put up, like a lot of floor work, a lot of barbell work, a lot of dumbbell work. For me, those lessons were invaluable because I did not know how to properly do a push-up. I didn't
Mm,
know how to do pull-up. And now I can do all, I mean, I can't do a pull-up without assistance, but I know how to do everything with form. And also, just not being afraid to do anything.
mm,
Don't be afraid.
I love that.
What is there to be afraid of?
Mm.
Nothing. Fear is literally just an obstacle between you and what you want.
That
So go
is the
get it.
truth. That is the absolute truth, right? Don't let fear stop you. So Cassie, so you're able to, you're doing the assisted pull-up. So what would you tell to someone who's like, well, I can't do that? What would you tell to someone who's just kind of very limited with their beliefs of like, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I'm scared? What would you tell to that person?
I would say I've been there.
Mm,
I've been scared. And I'm living proof that you don't have to let that fear hold you back.
mm,
I mean, you can't. What
yeah.
are you going to be scared for the rest of your life? Is that what you're just going to let it stop you from being what you want to be?
Mm,
What does that say about your mindset? You can
wow.
get over it. You
Wow.
can.
Cassie, I wish that like we could have had a recording of like maybe the very beginning Cassie, where she was fearful, where she was scared, and she was overweight versus where you at today. Because I know you personally, and I know the transformation that you've had, not just with the body on the outside, but the internal transformation that you had. Like, you really like when you were working in the gym and you were working on say the strongman skills and you're doing all that, like you just blossom into this completely different new being than who first walked in my gym. Like I saw that transformation. Can you talk about maybe how your life is different today versus back then?
So, back then I was very shy at the gym. I was very timid. I mean, obviously that's changed, thank God. I honestly, it's changed me as a person. Like I've always been very introverted, very kept to myself, did my own thing, and never really been considered extroverted until I gained that confidence working out and trying new things and finding out something I loved. And then I was like, why am I being timid? This is something I want to share with everyone.
I
Everyone
love
should do
that.
this.
I love
Everyone
that.
should find something they love, and especially when it comes to exercising, because that's how you make the transformation happen is you find something you love, because then it's not, oh, I don't have motivation. Well, it's not motivation anymore. It's
Mm,
dedication to what you love to do.
I love that. I love that. So, and I just want to touch on this because first we're timid, and then we like the weightlifting. So you join Mayhem, your confidence is growing, you're making new lifts, but then you go into running, and you went almost to do the whole thing all over again. Where it's like I'm not a good runner, I had the asthma, but you still broke through that. Even though running wasn't fun, how did you make running fun whenever like I'm the person who doesn't like cardio? I'm the person that doesn't like running. Like, how did you make running fun whenever it was something that normally the old Cassie would have said, "Oh hell no."
I'm not gonna lie to you. I said, "Oh hell no" to myself as I ran and walked for the first like 2, 3 weeks. I was like, "Why am I doing this?"
Mhm.
And then I reminded myself like I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to like running.
Mm.
So for me, I had to make it fun because if you're not having fun while you're exercising, then you're doing it wrong, in my
Boom.
opinion.
There it is. There it is. Here's the golden nugget right there. If you're not having fun doing it, you're going to quit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for me, I spent some time and I made running playlist on Spotify for myself, and I picked my favorite music, and I made probably 3 or 4 playlists, nothing too crazy. And then I would have, like, on Monday I listened to hip hop, and then on Wednesdays, because I ran three days a week, so Monday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Friday. Wednesdays I would do pop, and then Fridays I would do like alternative, and I would switch it up. And of course, I was weightlifting on Tuesday, Thursday, but I couldn't go too crazy heavy on leg day. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to run the next day. Uh,
Sure. Sure. Right.
but yeah, I was like, I need to make this fun. I need to make this something that I'm going to look forward to, because for me, I love, love, love listening to music while I work out. If my headphones aren't working, I am very, very upset, because I have to have music when I work out. I think that really stems from your gym, because we would always be blasting the music.
Oh
And
yes. Oh
yeah, the
yes.
something with the beat and like the exercising just meshes really well.
They mesh well. They certainly do. But I love that little tip, guys. If you guys missed that, listen to what she said about she started creating her own playlist for her music. This is kind of like buying a new outfit or buying new shoes, like when you're geared up to ready to work out. Like when you ever you're to me, it was just like that mind flip of, okay, I'm gonna create my running list. I'm not gonna rely on somebody else or anything like that. But this, so when you put those headphones on and you start running, like you're more motivated because it's like you've created something that you're actually using to propel you through the run. Like
Yes.
and guys, that's one reason why I love creating workouts. Like I could go, like I could, find a workout on YouTube and have my clients do that. But part of the process for me is the creativity of
Mhm.
what are we going to do today? And and putting myself through those own challenges as well. So Cassie, I'm loving this. What I want to do right now is I want to go through and see if there's any questions. So guys, if you
Sure.
have any questions for Cassie, let's drop them in the comments. Oh man, you got a lot of comments here. Hold on, let's see what we
Oh,
got.
I haven't
I'm
even
going
looked
back
at
to the
it
beginning.
yet.
We got some hearts. We have a lot of love for you.
Oh,
um
thanks, guys.
People just saying a lot
Oh,
of comments here. Hold on, let's
sorry.
see. No problem, no
Trying
problem.
to look
We
at the
got some hearts.
comments, and it's like, nah.
So let's see. We have Angel did say, "Yo, find me a cook, teach me your ways, girl." So maybe Sean will have a new business meal prepping for these guys. um, Fiona. So Selena said, "If you aren't a carb fanatic, leave now." All right. So let's see. Da-da-da-da. I'm just trying to see. Oh, Angel also commented on, I love that. Say that again. Don't eat something healthy just because it's healthy. Like, what is that?
Yes.
Like, how did that help you out with your nutrition, Cassie?
So for me, I was looking at recipes when I first started, and I was like, "Oh, we could try this, but I don't like kale." So
Mhm.
it was like a kale and bean soup, and I was like, "Well, let's try it." And so we made it,
Yeah,
and I hated it because I didn't like kale. And
yeah,
I was like, "You know what? Just because it's healthy doesn't mean I have to eat it.
exactly
Something
right.
about this has to be fun. Let's make this fun."
There you go. So you can find other healthy options. So you don't have to force
Yes.
feed yourself to lose the weight,
Oh,
right? Or to be
no.
healthy. I love that. Let's see. Oh, so Selena did say nothing's changed, Cassie. It's still a surprise. You're gonna die today or sort of survive based on the blackboard. So guys, do you have any questions that you want to throw at Cassie here? Jeff Richardson says, "Love the fear is just an obstacle standing in the way of what you want." So love that. Oh, so Brad's got one for you, Cassie. What is
What?
your favorite exercise? What is your favorite thing to do in the gym?
Uh, um, it used to be deadlifts, but I've taken a little bit of a break from deadlifting. Right now, it's squats. I
Oh,
used to hate squats so much, so
yeah.
much. And now I love them. I love getting to do the various kinds of mostly barbell front and back squats right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cassie, you sound like someone who's like, okay, I know, like, I hate running, but I'm going to step into the challenge. I'm going to do it. And now you actually include running on an ongoing basis. I hate squats, but I'm going to step up to the challenge. And now you love squats. Like, I'm noticing a pattern about you here.
I mean, if you hate it, it's only a matter of time before you love it if you force yourself to do it enough. But
I love
that's just for exercising for me. I'm not going to do that to myself in other areas.
Not gonna do the kale chips. Don't give her the kale chips. Not
No.
gonna do the kale chips. I love that. So, but I do love that where it's like if people can kind of grasp onto the idea of weightlifting, and I do have one more question for you,
Sure.
but if they could grasp onto the concept of, the weightlifting not being so much a chore, but see it as a challenge and something to overcome that, would you agree that being under the bar, being under a vigorous exercise routine, like doing the running, stepping into these challenges, would you agree that that is personal development through exercise?
Yes. Oh, yes. I am the epitome of that. 4 years ago, I had terrible depression, terrible anxiety about not just working out, but life in general. And getting to pick something heavy up and put it down, whether you're squatting, deadlifting, benching, doing kettlebell swings, pushing a sled. For me, it's like you get to focus on this one thing and to see what your body can do. Just
Love
see
that.
what your mind can do that day. And just because you think you can't do it, why do you think you can't do it? Why
Mm,
not try it? Why not push yourself? Why not see what you're capable of? And for me, just getting to do that 5 days a week, I still go to the gym 5 days a week. Sometimes I go 6 or 7 days a week if I have time on the weekends, which I don't anymore because now I have two jobs. But, but yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you gotta take care of yourself. And for me, going to the gym is my mental homework. I get to focus on myself. It's 30 to 45 minutes of just me and seeing what my body can do that day.
Man, I love that. I love that. Let me see if there's any other questions.
Sure.
No questions. Just want to share, Cassie. So Selena says Cassie actually taught me how to continental clean in the beginning, and so yes, squats. So yes, squats. So yeah, like
Yeah,
guys, this is so important. Like, so Cassie came in with the weight training, strongman being very new. Like you had never done strongman before you came to Mayhem, correct?
correct.
And now but then you were able to teach a skill level of strongman to somebody new who came into the gym, later on.
Yes, I love sharing it with other people. I'm not sure if I would ever be a personal trainer just because I don't know if I have I mean, I know I could push through the schooling and the
Hmm.
tests and all that, but I think just sharing something that you love, especially when it comes to exercising where it could help other people.
I love
Like
that.
that's one of my biggest things is trying to give back. So if I can help somebody not hurt themselves in the gym,
Mhm.
I will do it for sure.
Yeah. Guys, I love that. We're going to have to wrap up with that because I do have another call at 1 o'clock. But Cassie, I
Sure.
just want to touch on that where you're paying it forward now. Like everybody could be a
Mhm.
coach. Like we all have something to teach others. We all have value. We all have skills. We all have a way to give back to this world. And so, Cassie, that is a wonderful place to stop and wrap up with this conversation because I just love how you said that. Like, I may not be a personal trainer, but if somebody is going to hurt themselves in the gym, I can show them how to do something better. I can show them the exercise, and I'm happy to help. I love that attitude about you paying it forward to other people. Like, and I feel like that's why we're here on earth. Like we're here to
Mhm.
enrich each other's lives and to benefit each other. We can all learn from somebody. Like we don't like I certainly don't know it all. So I have my skill sets in the gym, and that's probably about the extent it goes. But I love that. Do you have any final thoughts first, Cassie? Anything that you would just love to share? Maybe something that's on your heart just as we close out here.
I just want to reach out to anyone that's struggling right now. Um, Depression is always going to get you down, and exercise can help. Having a straight exercise routine, even if it's just taking a 30-minute walk every other day, even if it's just any kind of exercise can help. Anything. Don't
Well,
don't dismiss it just because you think a walk is not going to help. Being
mhm,
outside in nature can help with your mindset, can help just
mhm,
relax you, take that anxiety down a level. I mean, I still struggle with anxiety and depression, but
mhm.
because I get to go to the gym, I get to exercise, I I am very, very lucky that I don't need medication.
Oh,
I
that's so
use
powerful.
I am very, very lucky. Now, not that's not true for everyone. Some people do
Sure,
better on medication,
sure.
but exercise can only help.
I love that. I love that, Cassie. That is so powerful. So, guys, obviously they can reach out to you here on Facebook.
Mhm.
How about like Instagram? Any other ways that people can reach out to you and find you?
I am on Instagram. I don't post very often. It's mostly pictures of my cats, but I am on there.
Love it.
It's at yarn crazed. I don't know if you could probably just look up Cassie Morgan as well. So,
We could post it in the comments later on. We could
sure.
definitely do that. But guys, you're watching her on Facebook. I know that you could reach out to her right here on Facebook. This has been awesome, guys. So I just kind of a quick recap. Like this girl lost weight. She's overcome anxiety, depression. She overcame fear. Like we still struggle with these things. Like, and that's kind of the part of it is that, fitness is a gateway to freedom, guys. Like fitness is is your gateway. It doesn't mean that it's going to solve everything, but it is personal development under the bars, personal development under exercise. And when you can step up to the challenge, when you can push through a challenge, like the person that you become on the other side, like is so much more than who you are today. And Cassie, just sharing your story with all that, like it's been awesome. I just truly, truly, truly appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to see who else you have coming up.
Well, let's talk about that. So we're going to take next week off because next week is Thanksgiving. But the
Yeah.
next one coming up is Kathy the Destroyer. So
Oh.
yes, she is our one of our strongman athletes who is a disabled athlete. So she does most of her
Mm.
training seated, guys. So there's if you are someone who's like, I can't do this because of immobility or because of whatever, Kathy's going to shut you right the hell up.
It's awesome.
So, Kathy the Destroyer, that will be December 2nd at noon. So, not next week, but the following week on Wednesday. So, stay tuned for that, guys. But,
Mm.
Cassie, appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And guys watching, appreciate you guys. All love, peace, love, and strength. Guys, keep crushing it. Reach out to myself or Cassie if you need anything, okay? Thank you so much, Cassie.
Mhm.